Do you remember learning to read? Do you remember how hard that was? Well, imagine having to learn to read, then learning how to read in 4 more languages, then having to learn to speak in all of those languages, then learning to speak 1 more language. OCCC student Mark Shemwell can do all of these things, and most of us can barely speak American. Why does he have to make us look so bad? Well, in the U.S. Army, it can't hurt to know a few languages. Mark Shemwell was part of the Army for 17 years, but now he's back and taking classes at OCCC to earn his degree in diversified studies. So how long have you been attending OCCC?
This is the end of my first year. I'll have my associate's degree come the end of this semester.
How's the weather today?
امروز صاف و آفتابیست هوا خیلی قشنگ است.
What language is that?
Farsi.
Awesome. What do you think of the school's library?
我不喜欢待在这儿，因为我不喜欢看书。I was Chinese.
What languages do you speak?
Fluently, I speak English, obviously, Farsi, Dari, Arabic, Mandarin Chinese, and some in Tajiki, which is another Persian dialect.
Which ones do you read and write in?
I read and write all of them except Tajiki. I can't read the Cyrillic alphabet.
What led you to learn all of these languages?
I joined the Army when I was 17 years old, and I was a typical dumb kid. You know, I wanted to join the infantry, go, or kill them, join the infantry. And my mom said, absolutely not. So I just told her to pick the job, and she kind of looked through it, and that's what she came up with. So the Army sent me to school to learn Farsi, and I found that I had a proclivity for languages.
Which language is your favorite?
Farsi.
Why is that one your favorite?
To me, it's by far the most expressive and the most poetic. Arabic is a little gruff. Chinese is a little tony. Persian, it has a real soothing sound. And, you can't beat Iranian women. They're beautiful. I read lots of Persian literature. The Shahnameh, the Book of Kings. I love contemporary Persian poetry.
I think we heard this through the grapevine that you take notes in Farsi because it goes from right to left,
yes,
rather than the standard English form of writing.
Right. I'm a lefty, so for me, the Arabic and Persian languages, it's much easier to go from the right towards the left. I don't get the ink or the lead on my hand, and it makes it more convenient.
That's really interesting. So you can fluently read all your notes, and that's awesome. Big deal. Anyone can do that. I know that I already asked you which language was your favorite, but which one was your favorite to learn?
Intellectually, I'd say Arabic. It's very, very grammar intensive. It's a root-based language, which means they start out with 3 or 4 letters, and then they have 10 to 15 different ways that they manipulate it. And the way they manipulate those letters depends on it determines the word's position in the sentence, it determines the word's function, and it determines the word's meaning. So take, for example, fa, ein, lam, fa'ala. That is, by itself, it's a verb, to do. But if you add an alif in there, fa, ein, alif, lam, fa'ol, then that turns it into an activity. Then they're like English, they have 10 million rules, and every single rule has about 10 million exceptions. So it's interesting to keep your head around that. I'm a huge fan of Persian poetry, and one of my favorite poems in any of my languages is by Omar Khayyam. It's Khayyam quatrain. So it's really, really short. It's Agl, Jomis ka agl afarin mizanadish, wa sabuseh zehmer bar jabin mizanadish. In kudegardah chenin jom latif misazad o baz bar zamin mizanadish. And it's translated to, it is a cup to which reason says bravo and kisses 100 times on the lips. The potter of the world makes this very delicate cup and then smashes it on the ground. And the reason I like Khayyam quatrains is they're all like that, where the object of the poem it's very abstract. The cup can be love, it can be life, it can be one's religious ideologies, it can be jealousy, It's applicable to so many different abstract things that it's really interesting to me.
So what exactly led you to learn all these languages?
I learned these languages because of the military. I honestly had no interest in Farsi whatsoever. I didn't know what Farsi was. I didn't know what the hell Iran was when I joined the Army.
Yeah.
So I spoke a little bit of German through high school, and it was okay, but the Army really pushed me that way, and I liked it. Really, the best way to learn any language is to immerse yourself in it as much as possible. Find people that belong to that linguistic and ethnic group, that have a good command of the English language, and have them start teaching you. You can get books and learn vocabulary yourself, but really the finer nuances of the language will come from immersion.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate your time. Mark Shemwell clearly knows linguistics, but it's hard to say goodbye in every language. Zai Jin.